Right. Oh, where's that? Right. So anyway, I'm Kate Floss, and as you know, we recently did a court hearing. What are we trying to prove? We're trying to prove that the 1688 Bill of Rights and the Will and Mary and the 1908 Declaratory Judgment Act that we held in all of our 5 countries of the Commonwealth give us the opportunity to go to the court at any time when we're questioning the laws of the government. And we did go to the High Court, and they've been blocking people by this thing called the Mannix Law, because they were saying to people, we're a corporation, and if you want to go to court against a corporation, you have to have a lawyer, not a lawyer, a proper solicitor to represent you. And they've said that, and people have been saying we can't go to the court because we can't afford solicitors that are like, sometimes, many thousands of dollars. People just don't have that kind of money. So what we did is we went to the court, and they said, you're a layman. And at the High Court, they said, you're a layman. And they threw us out on our ear. They struck us out because it's called the Mannix Law. But under the Declaratory Judgment Act in Section 2 and Section 3, it says if any person, only one, you only need one person, has any question about the construction of a law, if it's valid or not, they're allowed to go to the High Court or the Appeal Court and ask them to clarify this construction of law to you. If the law is wrong, they have to change it. If the law is right, then you're out on your ear. But for this kind of thing, you can actually, it's very scary because it's got all these court fees, but you're allowed to apply for waivers. And we would come under the category of the waivers. And so since we got sent out, we did actually, you'll see here on my document here, I hope everybody can see it, is that we appealed it, and it says here, because the Crown Counsel said that the Prime Minister would not come to the court, we will not engage with you, we will not speak to you, we will not speak about your laws. This is what all the common law people are doing as well. I'm saying to you it's the wrong way and you can't do it. So the Appeals Court have sent us a letter, and they have said, please read carefully these rules. The notice, it's Catherine Ann Sixtus versus Jacinda Ardern, Chris Farfoy, Andrew Little, Ashley Bloomfield. Now, none of these people are being prosecuted. I'm going to tell you that. None of them are being prosecuted for any wrongdoings. I want to make that absolutely clear. What we have looked at is some of the laws that have been made in Parliament, passed in Parliament, are repugnant to our 1688 Will and Mary and our constitutional law. And it's those laws that we're questioning the construction of. And there are nobody being accused here. And if the law is faulty, then the courts can order to change that law, but there would be no penalty to the people that we've called for the court. And why is that? Because these people all work for us. We pay them. And whenever every single law that they make, it's not them that are bound to that law and have to compensate for that law. It's us. When they make a law to pay millions of dollars to a certain entity, and then that entity, like the bridge in Auckland or the Marsden refinery, when those entities fail, it's we, the public, that has to pay the money, not them. And that's why when there's a construction of a law that they made that we disagree with, we're allowed to go directly and do not pass the prison, directly to the highest court to say we don't agree with this, because we are the owners of this corporation. We are the managers of this corporation. So they have said, the appeals court have said, the notice of appearance by the respondents is required. You have got to come to this court. And then they've said, if you do not come to this court, we will not, where did they say it? They said, if you do not come to the court, where does that say that? All right, I haven't really done my due diligence. 10 working days must notify the court of their accepted of services, and then if the respondent fails to respond to the service letter that we've sent to them, then the Court of Appeal will continue with the appeal with or without them. And if they decide not to respond, the Court of Appeal will not send them any documents, any copies, nothing will be sent to them about this hearing, and the hearing will go on without them. And the court will make its judgment. Now, they have asked for a $7,000 appeal that the appellant must pay as security, but you're permitted to apply for, they have told me, and to apply to dispense with the security costs in a memorandum. And if it is a matter in the public interest, then you're permitted to do that. So then they've said to us, as the people going to the court, that we are permitted to tell them the estimated time that we want for our hearing. So it can be an hour, or it can be 2 hours, or it can be half day, or 1 day, or 3 days. We get to choose what we think and why we think we need that amount of time, and they will define it for us. Now, they have told us to make just a brief statement of the things that we want to talk about, just so they've got a fair idea. Any novel points of view of the law that we are challenging, or any authorities that we are challenging. This is what these high courts are for. We're out of the earthly realm. We're in the heavenly realm. And when you're in the heavenly realm, things are done under Almighty God. They're not done under the government anymore. It goes to a higher law, and we are firmly in the heavenly realm. Now, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. Right, we've still got a bit of time. So, and then the authorities, that we're challenging and the things that they've done. Now, they've also given us another wonderful option here as the people going to the court, exercising our indubitable right under the 1688 Bill of Rights. They've said to us, if a request for the appeal is to be heard, we can request either a court of 5 judges or a court of 3 judges, and then we can put together the reasons for our request. And we're going to be requesting 5 judges. And why are we requesting 5 judges? Because we think that the 1688 indubitable ancient right and ancient laws is so important. This law has not been used in 47 years, and the Parliament, it's in the Cabinet Manual. Parliament's not following it. Crown law's not following it. United Nations is not following it. Human rights is not following it. None of them. And so we think that we need 5 judges to let each of those people know. But this is the highest law of Almighty God, and everyone's got to follow it, even the Pope. So we're thinking 5 judges would be suitable for our case of the people that we're going to take to court with our money. You know, we don't pay all these taxes for nothing. We're paying
to get beaten up.
Yeah, that's right, Maxine. We're not paying our taxes to be beaten up down at the steps of Parliament, to be told locked up, beaten up, fired up, dehomed, dejobbed, inoculated up, injected up. We are not going to pay.
Refugee status for Maori?
Yeah, refugee status for Maoris. Maoris have been classed as refugees at the United Nations now. And we are not paying all this money for them to do that to us. No, we're paying our money for them to rule according to the Cabinet Manual that we pay for. Our money paid for that Cabinet Manual. Our money paid for their Parliament seats. Our money paid for the Parliament. Our money pays for everything. It pays their salaries, and they have a set of rules that they're supposed to govern us by, and when they don't govern us by those rules, we shall go to the court with and get a use out of our own money. Our money pays for the High Court judges and the appeal judges and the Supreme judges it pays for it all. So why shouldn't we be allowed to go there and tell them that we're not happy with the way they're running our company of New Zealand, because we own New Zealand. We are the owners of this company. We are the directors, not them. They're only the people that the directors, which is us, put in place to manage our affairs. And we pay them very well for the best lawyers, the best parliamentarians, and we expect them to do a very good job for us. And as directors of our own corporation and our company, we are entitled to go and have a board meeting with the 5 judges and let them know that we're not happy. And we don't need to stand at the Governor-General's door, tapping on the door. No, in the rain, where they ignore you. We don't need to stand on the Parliament steps in the pouring rain or the water sprinklers or the fires or the police beating us up and dragging people through the streets. No, you don't need to do that. You know what you need to do in New Zealand? You need to get your 1688 indubitable right. You need to get your 1908 Declaratory Judgments Act. You need to get your 1865 Native Rights Act.
Right.
You need to get, and you need to get your 1844 the Germanic settlers constitution was the first time that the subject status was put into New Zealand on Victoria number 2. I'll just put a shout out for the Germanic settlers under Victoria. We've got all those documents, and they say that we can go to the court. It says in the 1908 Declaratory Judgment Act, if any one person, the power of one, if one person has a question about the construction of a law that they have made against us, one person can go to the court and call 5 judges to the court to listen to what we want to say. That's what we need to be doing. You're all going about it in the wrong way. You don't know what your power is. And so I'm giving you back your power, me and Sharon and Maxine and Jody and Diane. We're giving back your power.
It's always been there, except that it's been, people have been told over and over again they can't go. It's been hidden. Documents have been destroyed. It's always been there, and it will always be there. It will always be there.
They cannot, they absolutely, under Almighty God, cannot remove your right to go to the court and question the points of law that they're making while they're in the Parliament. They don't get to just go and sit in Parliament and say, we've got supremacy of Parliament, we can make any old law we like. They sign a contract when they go there in the Cabinet Manual under the 1688 ancient law of their oath that they will govern according to this set of rules. And there aren't many rules that they have to follow, but they better follow those rules. And that is the contract that they made with us. We voted them in based on, it's like any other job. You go and get a job, and they will give you a contract, and they will say, these are the conditions that you get to work in this job. And if you don't follow these conditions, we will call you in for a meeting, which is what we're doing now, and we will write a letter to you, and we will tell you what you're not following that was in this contract. If you don't follow that letter that we give to you, this declaration, then you need to leave because you did not follow the contract that we put you into that position. So the 16, it's live right. It's live right, Sharon. It's a live right, and so yes. So when we vote them into Parliament, we did not ever say you are supreme over us, and you can make any law and make us responsible for any law that you make. You're not allowed to do that.
And we didn't consent to it either.
We consented to them being in Parliament under a contract of certain conditions. We did not consent to them to go in there and sign us up to hundreds of international laws that we have to pay for when those laws go pear-shaped. We didn't consent to that. That's bad management. And when you do that, look at all the projects that they've started and paid millions of dollars into and then dumped them and said, oops, it's our money. It's ours.
Yeah,
Ours.
ours.
It doesn't matter
And
if
we
you're
are
one,
saying no more.
eh?
And we are saying no more.
Yeah, we're saying no more. That's right. We're saying no more to this. We're saying we don't care if we are a very poor person and we paid you only $1. We don't care if we are a rich person and we've paid you $100 a week or a month. It doesn't matter how much. One person paying 1 cent have the right to go and say, you've wasted my money. You started a project. Halfway through the project, you didn't manage it correctly. You didn't do your due diligence of how that project, how those funds were going to be spent. You didn't do due diligence. And then you went halfway through a project and you dumped it. And all those millions are gone, and our future
And you've given
generations
away
are having to
some
pay.
massive resources. And
Yes.
now, through giving away those massive resources, i.e., Marsden Point, our everything, our gas prices are going up, and we're getting it from overseas. It's like basically in the terms of our employment contract, whether we're an employee in say a call centre setting, they have to meet certain key performance indicators. They're called KPIs. Our government is not meeting their KPIs.
Yeah,
they're not
including our farming sector as well. They're giving away our farming sectors as well. Farmers can't work anymore.
There's forfeiture of person is going on. Foreigners in our parliament is going on. Foreign governance is going on. Foreign laws is going on. That's all illegal. It is all illegal. There's just many things. We won't list them all, but it just does come down to that we are a company as a country. They are employed by us. And the parliamentary sovereignty means that they have to have good governance and good sense, because every single law that they make, they're not bound to it. They leave Parliament and they go off to another country or whatever you do, but you are bound to it forever. And so every time they make a law that affects you, that has a bad effect on you, you've got to pay for it. Now, down in Christchurch, they just had a law. They're building the big stadium, and it's only got half finished. And they've said to the people, we're going to increase your rates to get another 150 million to start to get it finished. And they've said it's only going to cost you an extra $39 a year. Altogether, you're going to pay $140 a year for the next 30 years for this project. And they're saying, don't worry about it. But no, this is so the public, look at the position the public have been put in due to their failure. The public have either got to dump the project because they don't want to pay the extra money and they lose the 150 million or 300 million that they've already invested, or they've got to pay the extra money against their will to get the project finished. And who's to say that a year down the track they're going to say that 150 million wasn't enough either, and now we need more, and it's just going to be an extra $5 a year or an extra $10. Who's going to stop them from that? So before they make these laws, before they start these projects, they should be doing their due diligence, because they're causing great loss to the people of New Zealand. And only one person who has paid 1 cent has said, I've lost my 1 cent because of what you did, and I'm going to go to the court and I'm going to ask my 5 judges who I pay for to come and look at what you're doing. So you're entitled. So we're going to send that today. All right, so I'm going to send this today. I've already got it Sharon's not here, so Sharon, I'm going to have to do it without you, dear. But so, oh, she's waving. Right, I've got it here. Sharon's there. She's watching. Maxine's there. We're sending the document, Dear Council of the 4 respondents, which is the ones Jacinda Ardern, Chris Farfoy, Andrew Little, Ashley Bloomfield. A final thing, these 4 people are not being called for any wrongdoing. Nobody, only they're being called because there's a couple of laws that we are questioning the validity of the law. And these laws were passed in Parliament. So these are only representatives of the Parliament, but in fact the entire Parliament made these laws. And so we are questioning the validity of a law. We are not accusing any one of these people of any wrongdoing, and there is no penalty held to them. They have not been asked to stand down. They have not been asked to lose their job. They've only been asked to come in, and the main law that we're looking at is the Human Rights Law, Section 5, Subsection 2, KII, that says New Zealand will be bound to any international instruments forever. And so that is the law that we're questioning. We're also questioning, there's quite a few others, but that we're questioning why the 1993 Electoral Law, Section 55, that says that if you are allegiant to a foreign government, if you have a dual passport, if you're allegiant to any foreign entity, then you're not permitted to be in our Parliament. And then in Section 55AA, it says, oops, yes, you are permitted to be in our Parliament under special circumstance. They've taken this, to me, special, they have not defined special circumstance. Special circumstance would mean they need an extremely clever constitutional lawyer that we don't have in New Zealand, or we need an extremely talented doctor that we don't have in New Zealand to guide us in health, or we need an extremely talented financial advisor to help us. That would be, to me, special circumstance. They've taken that to mean that someone who has come from a refugee camp 10 years ago and is in New Zealand and got citizenship and is permitted to be in our Parliament, when they don't even know anything about New Zealand constitutional law or even the Cabinet Mat. They can't barely speak English. We've got a Mexican, no offense to the Mexican, I'm happy for you, you're a lovely person, but you've been in New Zealand 10 years. What is your special circumstance that you get to be in? What is the difference between you and going and plucking a New Zealand person off of the streets of New Zealand and putting them into Parliament, giving them a job, giving them a car, giving them a house, and saying you will no longer be homeless in your own country, that you have been here since the Parliament started in 1839 or 1840, that New Zealand came to be a Parliament, a government, and those are the people that should be in our Parliament, not someone that turned up in New Zealand 10 years ago that knows nothing of our history, nothing of our people, and I don't think that they're qualified enough, and they don't come under the criteria of special circumstance. So that's why we're calling them, to ask them, not to accuse them, but to ask them about these laws, why they've got them, why they need them, and that they're repugnant to our 1688 ancient, indubitable Protestant protections. Protestant protections is what we're asking for, aren't we? Our life rights, Sharon?
Live rights, Kate, live rights.
Live rights. I love you all. And it's going to be sent 1, 2, 3.
It should
Nice
make their
one.
afternoon tea.
Sent.
It should give them something to discuss over their afternoon
That
tea.
it's just afternoon
Exactly.
tea time.
Yes.
We have sent it, and we will go to sent to check. We've sent it to the Wellington High Court. We have sent it
Did you
to
attach it?
Peter Gunn, We have sent it to Raphael at the Justice. We have sent it to Forbes. So this is the council of the respondents. We have sent it to both of them, Peter Gunn, and we should expect to get a notice from them that they have received it. I think that it's all right. So, and we've got a newfound friend. And so we'll just send her a little message because we've got a great friend down at the appeals court. So the appeals court are really our best friends. We're in the heavenly realm, I call that the heavenly realm. You go to the High Court, and if the High Court strikes you down, you go to the appeals court, and they will let you enter the heavenly realm. And we are in the heavenly realm, and the laws there
And
are
I
different.
just want to, you probably need to, because I know people I know don't understand your reasoning around the heavenly realm, and you probably need to explain what that means given the 1688.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just send a message first to
Okay.
to this lady. I'll just say, dear Ms. Forbes. Dear Miss Forbes. I better put in Lewis. Dear Miss Forbes Lewis. I have sent the notice of appeal to the council and CC you. Would you mind please checking that we did this action correctly and according to the law? Right. And then I've sent this. Right.
Nice work.
So, nice work. So, we're going to be talking about that. Maxine has said we're talking about the heavenly realm. So, I'll just, let me turn that off. I'll just show you the 1688 Bill of Rights. So, this is the 1688 Bill of Rights, New Zealand. It's in legislation. I'm going to show you the two acts that you need here. You've also got the ninth. Now, this is in Australia. It's in our 5 Commonwealth countries. All right? We've all got it. And this is called a declaratory, and I'll show it to you here, actually. Judgment Act and New Zealand. And you'll see the declaratory, there is the Declaratory Judgments Act in Australia, right? So this is in both of our countries. And this is the Declaratory Judgments Act that's in New Zealand, right? So we both have it. Oh.
Thank you.
Right. So you'll see here, this is the Declaratory Judgments Act of 1908. And then you'll see it's also Declaratory Judgments Act 1908 Australia as well. It's in England. It's in all common law countries have it. And this is the essence of common law. And the essence of common law says that it's just very simple. I've done a video, but I'll do a little bit. It says, no action or proceeding in the High Court shall be open to objection on the ground that merely a declaratory judgment was sought. Any consequential leaf may be claimed, relief may be claimed or not. It means you can ask for a declaration, and it doesn't even have to have a consequence to the government or anyone. If you want a declaration, you are permitted to go to the High Court and ask for it and explain to them the reasons that you would like it. And it's not up to you to try to figure out how they're going to write that declaration. It's up to them to try to figure out how you as a person and an owner of a country, and the person that is considered to be in the child state. You're in the child state and they are your parents. And in the child state, it's just like when your little 4-year-old comes to you and is trying to explain to you what they want. They want something. You can look at a baby. They want something. They can't speak, and they don't know how to speak. In all of these laws that they have, they don't know how to speak. It's up to them as a parent to figure out what it is that's causing you stress, what it is that they can do to relieve you of that stress. And it's not up to them, if you're crying and you're stressed, it's not up to them to say, get out of my face, I don't want to deal with you. No, that's not what a parent does. A parent says,
No.
I'm going to sit with you here until I figure out what it is that's causing you this distress and what it is that I can do to remedy that for you. That is what their job is. And so it says it right here, they're not allowed to throw you out because it's bad parenting. That's child abuse. Then it says it is child abuse. Where any person has done or desires to do any act, the validity, the legality, the effect of which depends on the construction of the validity of a statute that has been made by the Governor General. I'm not going to read it all, but such person may go to the High Court and they may say, now this is what I've told you, is that when they make the law, it's not them that is bound to that law. You are bound to it. When they say you've got to provide a house for 350 refugees or 5,000 immigrants that are going to be permitted into New Zealand, when they say that you have to provide a house, you've got to leave your house and sleep in the streets and give your house to them. But hey, those people in Parliament, they don't have to leave their houses. They make sure that they've got enough money to get out the country or to pay for their houses or whatever, all paid for by you. And yet you, when they made that law, you have got to leave your house and give your house to those people because they've made a law that says you have to do that. And so when you have a problem with that, you've got the right to go to the court, the High Court, and they have to, so these laws, these laws are no different from a company. When a company writes a law and says that you have to go and shit on the neighbour's fence, and then you have to do it, and he's written the law and you've signed that law, the person that goes to shit on the fence is the person that gets arrested. All right? Because that law was made and that person has got to follow it. But it's that person that has to pay the price. So it's probably not a good analogy, is it? But I'm not good at analogies. I'm the child trying to express myself. But this is a fact. The people that are responsible for everything that they do are you. And this is why we need to, as a people, keep an eye on our laws and know that we've got to go and challenge them in a court of law, not banging on the Governor General's office or stomping your feet down at the Parliament. We are semi-grown up. They gave us a power, and we have not taken good care of our power. And so they said, if you're not
powers,
these
specific papers these specific documents we're taking to the court have ascended, haven't they?
Yes.
Whereas you've got the things like the Human Rights Act and that, they haven't.
No.
And that's why you're talking about a heavenly realm. These specific documents have gone to the heavenly realm, been okayed, and given to us, and we can take it back.
Yes. Every single law that they make, every bylaw, every memorandum, every article, every instrument, all of them are made, but they all have a strict guideline of how they're supposed to make them, and that's in the 1688 Bill of Rights, or the indubitable right. And all of those laws are considered to be almost subordinate laws. And that when they, if they've gone to the Governor General and the Governor General has approved them, or if they haven't gone to the Governor General, even if they haven't gone to the Governor General, if they've bound you to a law, it's in the earthly realm that they bind you, in the earthly realm, and you've got no power over it. They're going to give you this document and they say to you, you're in the earthly realm and you have to follow it because you voted us in, we made the law, you have signed, when you've signed up Parliament, you've signed up to that law, and then they've said to you, so you've got to follow it, and if you don't follow it, they're going to put you in the prison, right? So you're in the earthly realm. You're constantly in the earthly realm, but these laws have been passed down to you from the heavenly realm. Now here's the heavenly realm, and that if you go to the 1688 Bill of Rights, that's the wrong one, I think. All right, so you can see it in the NZLI law here, and oh, this is an old one actually, so I'll do another one. Now this is in Australia. They can't remove this law. They're trying to remove it. Oh, why is it not coming up?
That one was okay. It was 2015, wasn't it?
All right, here it is. Okay, so this law here is the heavenly realm. This is out of the lower courts. It's out of civil court. It's out of the workers' court. It goes to a high court, which is the high court. And then the reason why is because this law here, it says that it's by the Lord spiritual, temporal, and diverse principle, and it's given to you by under Almighty God, and Almighty God is the instrument. And so when every single law that they make has to follow a certain set of rules. You can go and study it yourself that are in here, but there are specific sets of rules. And one of the greatest rules that any country ever has is that I do declare that no foreign prince, no foreign person, no foreign prelate, no state, no potentate ought to have any jurisdiction, any power, any superiority, any preeminence, any authority, ecclesiastical or spiritual within this realm. So help me God. Now that includes all the United Nations. The United Nations can behave in our country as a subordinate law, but they should not be elevating themselves to the heavenly law because they're a foreign power. And I think that this is what we're challenging in the court under Section KII of the Human Rights Act. They have become bold. They have become, greedy in their power. Their power isn't stopping. It's just wanting more and more and more and more. And now is the time with urgency that we're going to go to the court and we're going to say, stop right there. You got to rule right now. That you've got to follow these things. So I don't want this video to be long. So this is called the heavenly realm. And this is the law together with, you can't go to the high court with subordinate laws of the night. Now the 1990 Bill of Rights is a subordinate earthly law. And when it goes to the court, you'll always get blocked. Every single time you'll be blocked by it because it's not a heavenly law. So you get blocked, and you can only use it in the subordinate courts, in the civil court, and the lowly earthly courts. But there's ones here go to the high court, the highest appeal courts, the constitutional courts. These are constitutional laws, which are very, very different. These aren't the law that you have to follow. These are the laws that the Parliament has to follow. The Crown law has to follow. And there was just recently a politician who said, where is Crown law? Why aren't they doing their job? And since Crown law aren't doing their job, Parliament's not doing their job, the Governor-General's not doing the job, we have got to ascend to the heavenly realm and remind them that we pay them, and if they're not doing the job, we will go to the heavenly realm and we're going to prove to them that we can go to the heavenly realm and block them, and we will not have them removed, but we will have them go back and reorganize these laws that they're making. And they should make them. So that is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the heavenly realm. So you leave the earthly, you don't have a lot of power in the earthly realm. In the earthly realm, they'll say, this is the law, you agreed to it. Every time Parliament signs their signature to a law, they're signing on behalf of you that you have agreed to this law.
Mm-hmm.
And when they flood the country with hundreds and hundreds of subordinate laws every single day, every single week, so that you as children aren't able to manage it anymore, that's called psychological waterboarding. That comes under a disarming of us, of our arms. Our arms are the courts of law, and the law are our arms of protection and safety for everybody. And when they flood us with laws that are repugnant, they're removing our ability to function, and they're our ability. And so that's called psychological waterboarding and a disarming of the Protestants. Disarming of the Protestants is not talking about guns. This will be the difference between American law and common law. Under American law, all their citizens, every single one, are entitled to own guns. In our countries, we are extremely restricted on the guns that we're allowed to own and how they're managed. And the reason why we have all those restrictions is because they gave us the arms of the law as our protection. And they said, when you have a problem with our laws, you can come to the heavenly realm and we'll fix it for you. But whereas in America, they don't have that, they're not able to do that. Yeah, they can't. Not like, it's a very difficult, it's more difficult for them. One person can't really do it. We can do it we only need one person. But over there, they need all sorts of things. It's a very different system. They're trying to get their system on us, but we don't want it. I'd rather have one person can go and demand on the government. And so when they sign you up to that law, you're responsible. And so you also should have the ability to go and ask them to remove that law because it has affected you and it's repugnant. And so that's what we're doing today. It hasn't been done in 47 years. And so this is big things.
Ever since we've got to the Court of Appeal, ever since in the last 2 days, all the research, the writing we've done, the emails have been taken out of our hands. It's like we've reached a place of nirvana because
we've reached nirvana. We have. When that appeal court ignored us, they threw us out. They discharged the High Court when they discharged their parental duty. It's like having a kid coming to you crying because they've been beaten, they've been waterboarded, they've been, they're stressed, and they're very, very stressed, but they can't verbalize what they want to say. And that court said to that child, get out, we want nothing to do with you. The appeals court have come in and they've just taken it all out of our hands. We didn't even have to write anything. We just called them. We said we want to do this, and I spoke to them for half an hour. We were on the last day for filing, and we just called them and said they did the whole thing for us. It was done in 2 hours.
You've just been filling in forms at the stress. The stress this woman's been under in 2 years is to try and get this. And I've had people say, why do you follow her? She looks like an idiot. Well, we don't we don't know the laws, and if you even try and read a bill, you will give up because
Yes.
you'll be moved continuously around and having to check that all the study and the research and that, and then we try to write it, and then that's why you see on our judgment it said unintelligible, and that and it would be in those lower courts. In the High Court, because the High Court obviously have an arm, and they've taken it that we had gone in under the judicial review
Litigation. They said we were litigating. They said many times. They basically called us idiots. Well, not us, me. They called me an idiot. They said many times, you're unintelligible, as children are. When children are stressed with all these hundreds of bills that they're putting through, you do become unintelligible because you become so distressed with all that they've done. It's very difficult to articulate what you want to talk in. And they basically said, you're an idiot, get out. And I sent many messages to the court. They've got me writing emails all day, every day. I would send them a question and they would send me back an answer that was nothing to do with the question. I'd have to send like 5 emails just to get the answer to one question. It's became, and then I sent them emails saying, could I please just call you to clarify this question, because I've done like 4 emails already. May I just call you? And you know what? They denied me access to the phone to them. They said, you're not allowed to call us. And then I asked for the case flow manager. She come back and said, you're not calling me either. They came back and they said, we're too busy for you in the court. And I thought, you freaking, don't you dare take my money. Don't you dare tell me after taking my money that you're too busy for me when you're taking my money. No, I'm angry. And when I explained all of this in a half an hour conversation to the appeal courts, they had that document up in 2 hours, and they said to them, you will respond to these people, you will answer them, and if you don't answer them, we don't give it to us because we're going ahead without you. And they said to me, don't worry, just send this. Then I said to them, you can get a fee waiver. I said, I can't get it in time, I'm stressed and I can't handle it anymore. They said to me, don't you worry about that. If you try and get it in today if you can, but if you can't, do it to your best and get it in tomorrow. We've already put the appeal in for you. It was done within hours. They have known, and they are being parents to us. They have said they're like a parent that sees their crying child, distressed, red in the face, screaming because they're so distressed. And they saw that,
and I think
they've just comforted us, haven't they? They've just comforted us.
I think too, it's because of the documents we're using.
Yes.
It's specifically because we're using documents that people will not use. You can't just rock up to appeal court and ask for any old thing and demand your rights and, throw even Te Tiriti in their face at some stage. You can't just, it's these ancient documents that no one's been using, that the judiciary is sitting there, because I was reading the status of I've probably lost it now. Well, there, that branch, the judicial independence. Judges are independent from other branches of government and from each other. They must be free to determine each case according to the law. Well, we're in a place now that they're here for us, but we have to ask for it. We have to ask for it, and no one knew to go and ask for it.
Yep.
Like no one knows, because they just tell you that Parliament is supreme. Well, we'll see how supreme they are.
It really is, as God says, if ask and ye shall receive. If anybody makes a prayer in my name, if anybody uses my name, your prayer will be answered. And they are working along those lines, that they have to answer us and explain to us and give us remedy, whether that remedy, they just have to help us and help sort out what is troubling us, as God would, as when you go to God and you kneel and you pray. And that's why it's called the laws of Almighty God. It's the only document in the world that actually has got on it that is the laws of God, and it actually says, so help me God, on it, and you actually ask for a prayer to be answered. It's not actually a declaration, it's a prayer. And they answer your prayer. They will ask this question, what is this person's prayer? Not what it, but you do have to have, if the government is running smoothly and correctly and following the cabinet manual and following the 1688 order contract that we give to them, we should never have to go to there. But when we do, we pay them such a large amount of money that they have to sit up and take notice to us, the people that are responsible for all of these laws, because we are responsible for every single law that they make. Just like, when you've got children living in your house and you say to your children, I need you to do this, follow this rule in my house. And the child says, I ain't doing that. I'm going to do what I want. And you say to the child, look, as long as you're in my house, it's me that's responsible for you. You see, it's me that's responsible, not you. So when you go out on the bus and you don't tell me where you are and you have an accident and you end up in the hospital, you don't have to pay for it. It's me that's got to pay for it. When they bring 3,000 people into New Zealand and those people have accidents or no houses or no food, it's not them that has to pay for it. We have to pay for it. They have scooped them up and they have said, and this is why a lot of countries won't take them, because they have scooped them up and they've plonked them down and they've said, you're responsible for those people because you said that you would be responsible. And so we have the right to go and contest that. And we should do that because every single person that they bring into the country
takes a piece of your tax.
Tax. So you're responsible. And the house, in this case, we are the parent. See, it can change roles. In this case, we are the parent, or we are the owner of the company. And they are the ones, they are who we are in control of them.
Responsible.
So there is like this parental things. They're going to go and do all these things, but they're doing it in our name.
Mm-hmm. And they're bringing their mates home. They're bringing
all their mates in.
You get to feed them, clothe them. You get to feed their mates.
And
that's what basically is happening. Come and live over here. We got you back. We got you.
And none of the other countries are doing this. You see, Saudi Arabia, China, all of Asia, none of them are doing this. None. Yes?
And I'd just like to say too that since Māori have been put under refugee status, this 50-50 Māori and Crown will not be 50-50 because Māori have gone under the refugee status, will be taking care of the refugees. And I gather Protestants are the same.
I'm here to say that the New Zealand Maori or anybody else is not entitled to any 50-50 or anything in regards to our country, because every law that is made by them or by us or by Parliament, everyone is responsible for it. Everyone. So you've got your Tikanga Law Society, you've got your Maori Council thing that you've got your individual PAs with your own courts in there. You've got all of that. And then
so they will all be a part of that.
And you all have got that, and the Anglo people are not allowed to interfere with any of that, but you're not allowed to make laws in there that makes all the rest of us responsible for laws that you've made that we've got no control over.
Yeah.
And so this 50-50 parliament is not going to work out, because every law that you make, you've got to come and ask me for my approval, because you're taking my 1 cent. You're taking my dollar. And so I'm going to say to you, well, I'm not happy about that law, and I'm going to say no. And so if you want to be in the United Nations, I know you don't, but if some Maori or whoever want to be in the United Nations, Godspeed to them. But even the United Nations cannot ask them to sign up to laws that bind the entire country that we did not give our individual consent to, because I don't want to pay for those 3,000 refugees. That I'm not paying for these international obligations, because it isn't an international obligation. You're responsible. You pay.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to pay. And they cannot force you. So no, there will be no 50-50 anything.
No, you won't.
There won't. And we will have to take that as well.
Yep.
So
And
this.
I totally agree. I totally agree with that. I really do.
Yeah, and the resources belong. The resources belong to the country. They don't belong to individual groups. And why don't they belong to individual groups? Well, there's many reasons, but one of the main reasons is when it belongs to an individual group, they can make a law that binds the entire country. When their business fails, when their resource fails, they come to Parliament and say, you've got to pay for it because this belongs to the country. But we damaged it. You can see it in the fisheries now that has happened.
Yeah.
And we all have to pay or have no electricity, or we have to pay or have no water, or we have to pay. It's just like the stadium in Christchurch. So for these certain things, no, you don't get to have that in your hands. And the people that have come to New Zealand as refugees, no, they don't get to have a say in those laws, because they can leave at any time. They can leave and go back to their countries and leave us with the mess, and they don't have to pay for it. But I'm over here in Thailand, and my taxes over here are bound to New Zealand. I'm bound to a tax number in New Zealand, and what I make over here can be taxed in New Zealand, my bank accounts, and I cannot escape New Zealand because I'm a national of New Zealand. But this is not the case with refugees. But they can leave the country, go back to their original country, they can renounce their New Zealand citizenship that they got, and they are completely severed from this country. And they are no longer bound to those laws that they signed up and forced us to be bound to.
Yeah.
So that's why we've got to get in the courts and get on to all of this. And no, they will not all be entitled to the same. So, and we're not saying all non-Maori and all Maori. We ain't even saying that. We're saying New Zealanders. No. New Zealanders, meaning New Zealanders that have an ancestry to New Zealand, born New Zealanders, are the ones that are ultimately responsible for everything that they're doing. Not these people that are just coming in. So no, I'm saying we have to make restrictions on those people. Just like all the other countries. I don't want to turn this into that kind of a talk, actually, but it's kind of gone that way. But I mean, it just does come back to the laws that they make.
And the reason why you fought so hard to get into to take this, you didn't sit down. And I tell you, you had things thrown at you with your High Court case that should not have been, not just by the courts.
Yeah.
Not just by the courts. You've been, sabotaged in many instances.
Yes, you have.
And they thought you were gonna lie down and die when you got kicked out. And here we are. We're in the appeal court. We're not lying down and dying.
I was kicked out of many places, actually. I've had a lot of people that have thrown me out and told me to bugger off. and saw me as being too much hard work. And they all, I think, thought that I was going to lay down and die, but they weren't counting on me getting a couple of great friends, and got 3 other great friends coming in to help me.
We got some ammunition behind us.
Yeah,
like
we
in the
have.
spiritual realm.
We all, at the times when we were sitting up all night and up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, trying to answer these things in time, all night you two sat up with me at those times. We all kept each other going when we really would have, I really would have died if I had not have had that. So we've all done that, but a lot of people have thought we would die, but we're in the heavenly realm now. And I just feel we can relax now. They do everything for us. We don't have to do it. We're now the child, and we've given it over to the parents. We've said we can't. We've said God. We've said God. You take Jesus take the wheel. Jesus take the wheel, and we've said God, you take the wheel from us because we can't deal with this anymore. And Jesus has certainly taken the wheel from us. Yesterday, within 2 hours of our phone call, they had taken it. They said, we're going to do this for you. It's beautiful.
And how do you feel? How do you feel now? Do you feel like the stress has gone off you, or are you still stressing?
Doesn't it, Maxine? Maxine's been here. Doesn't it? They've given us.
She was up. You rang me at 10 o'clock my time. That would have been 5 a.m. I spoke to you last at what? 1 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
Or even afterwards. A.m. 1 a.m. this morning.
Yeah. And yeah, but they've been so helpful. They just did it for us. They didn't tell us to write a single thing, not even fill out a form, nothing.
Not just that, they can
And
actually speak English.
Yeah.
These people you're talking to speak English.
Yeah.
They've been educated here.
Yeah.
And you don't have to. The explanations that you get, the communication is normal.
Yeah.
You're getting normally a communication.
So you didn't have to do any service papers either?
No, they did it for us.
Well, it's all electronic.
They wrote all that.
It's
we
all
didn't write that. They did it for us. They sent us.
She has to fill forms out.
They sent us.
She has to.
Yeah, they
See,
sent.
this is what I thought that was supposed to happen through the High Court. Was they were supposed to do what
they actually are. You're not. Oh, I've had a letter.
Oh, cool.
Actually sent it to when it is the notice of appeal that needs to be. Oh my gosh! What's the time?
Oh yeah, you still got it's 4 minutes to 3.
All right. Oh. See, you see how they help us? So they've just sent us. They said you've sent the wrong one, and they've done this for us, and they've said, okay, get this done. So I'll do it right now.
Is that the one we worked on last night?
Yeah. That's the notice of appeal, and we can just all right. So this is the kind of help that we have been receiving, and then so we can just go to a new message, and then we can just send it to Wellington High Court, and then we just CC it to Peter Gunn, and then we CC it to her. And we CC it
filled out
to him,
you have to attach anything?
And we CC it to who else have we got there? McManaman, and then we CC it to
Gunn,
Forbes,
and Gunn, and send it to Raphael because he'll be jumping around because he said the wrong one. Let's just make his day. Send the right one.
Yeah, and we just pop that in there. And then
Do you have to attach anything? Do you have to attach anything what we wrote, or is that all in there?
No, it's all in there.
Oh, yeah.
I love this lady. I love her. Love her, love her, love her. So that's in there. And then we've just put in the subject number CIV 2022 485 134. They must be sitting there
Waiting.
saying,
We need to get this
Have
right.
we got the right number on there? CIB, is it CIB?
and then I'll put
Check your number, check your number.
I can go to the here, and I can go to the sent items, and I can just copy that. And they must be thinking, you silly twat, rather than send me a little email and say, hey, that's not the right one, could you resend this one? Rather than be helpful to the children, they've said, you silly unintelligible twat, we ain't doing nothing. And luckily I've got the lovely appeal court who is acting in the parental status and caring for me.
Yes.
I filed notice under and I'll put that on there just to be sure. Just put the notice of the filing. Is that the right one?
Just
And
check
make
it,
sense,
Kate.
get your number.
Yes, that's got the notice of our filing. So just pop that in there for you, rotten. And they're going to say, oh, no, just when we were enjoying our cup of tea at the unintelligible idiots.
Unintelligible
The
shut up again.
unintelligible idiots.
Shut up.
Right. And we've sent that to there. And 1, 2, 3, and go.
Go. Yes.
And
You know, when we've been working on this, when I talk about sabotage, when we've been working on this and she hasn't been on her page, the amount of messages that have been coming at her, like the amount of things, something happened last night that just took her, I had to sit with her for hours. It just frazzled her. This is what we're thinking. So she's not only getting it from the courts, she's getting it from people that should be supporting her, that supposedly have been acting as support. She's been getting it from every single orifice, basically. And this is what, and when we've been doing stuff, because I think to myself, shit, we should film this, because this shows how we don't know what we're doing.
How diligent she's been. How diligent she's been.
And not just that, we don't know what we're doing, and it's been a minefield just to get to the appeal court. It's been a massive minefield, but we've got there. Like, people can laugh and carry on, you don't know what you're doing. We've got into the thing, and it's like, it's giving the finger to everything that never helped. Everybody that sits there and moans about what's happening in this country and blames the government and blames the Pākehā, because that's where it's going now. The white man in this country cannot say anything against any of these things that are happening, and yet no one's helping us.
No one.
Nobody is helping us.
Yep. And it took...
So we may be unintelligible,
yeah,
but we fucking got there. We've got there.
well,
friggin' did. Yeah. Are you reading your emails, Kate?
I'll just say, bless so much to all of you
The anger is,
in the heavenly
huge.
realm.
The anger I feel, the anger inside is.
I know. When you were sending me messages, it was just horrible.
It's just and it's justified. It's just. The anger that we're feeling is just, because this has been raining down on our country for decades.
Yeah.
And people have known.
That's where I want to go with this. There have been people out there doing all of this work 20, 30 years and some.
Yeah.
Why have they not moved forward? And I'll tell you why. It's because they're not working together. How many groups have we been into that are working for themselves, their individual groups? They're not worried about saving our country first,
No.
putting a stop to everything that's happening. And if they had done that, they would have had more time to do everything else later.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be about the land, the gold, the money?
Because they
Why could
they want
about
money, they want status, they want the land to themselves, they want to rule, and that's why they haven't made it. It had to be, it's spiritual. That's why Tamati Wakanene did what he did, and that's why it came from the realms it came from.
he did
And
what
you
he
know,
did. It took
us,
one person to go.
yeah.
Yep, yeah. So
And we've known with the three of us, our whakapapa is all
Yeah.
tied up in this.
Yep. And now that we're on screen, the one thing I want to say, and I've been saying all along, who is your army?
Yeah.
Who do you, and I'm talking Māoris and Protestants, who is the army that's going to back you up when shit hits the fan? And I've been telling you guys this all along. Save our country first, deal with the shit later. But
Yeah.
no, you got to deal with the shit first, and our country's going under.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the anger comes from, and that's why we say we will give our lives for this.
Oh, exactly.
I just hope people wake up to the impact for their great-grandchildren if we don't do something. I don't think they are. Everyone's taking the money. Look around. Everyone's taking the money.
Yes.
There's money for Māori coming out their ears.
And money's not going to get them anywhere. How safe do Māori and Protestants that's going against us, how safe do they really think they are? And I put this up on my post once. Māori thinks that they may have everything now, but they're only giving it to you to sweeten you all up so you get your pure titles back, and United Nations comes along, takes it off you because you're not safe. They want you, or they want to be your instruments. And we all know where United Nations is going.
Yeah, that's the driver, I think.
Yep.
You
Money's
did it.
free. You
Right.
did it?
You
It's
did it.
done.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling happy because I know that the appeals court, I know that even if it's not put in, that it's basically done, and that it doesn't run out as long as you've got it in there and it's already done. You can remedy a mistake, you know. So it's all in. It's been sent to them, and even if it has a mistake, you can remedy it now because they've been given their notice. They've been given the stamped notice of appeal. They've been given the thing that they have to follow, all of that, and so that's all that you need to do. And then even if it goes pear-shaped, they will be able to fix it at this point of the game. It's done. We're in the heavenly. We're in.
High five, ladies.
High five. Live rights. Live rights.
Yeah.
All right. I'll stop this video now.